Yeah, I'm Jonathan,
And I'm Casey.
and this is our story. We met in Mineral Wells, Texas, while we were both in high school.
After we graduated, Jonathan decided to go into the Navy so we could get our life back on track. We were kind of running with the wrong crowd, doing the wrong things, so we thought that would be the best. Before he went into boot camp, I found out I was pregnant. We decided we would get married. Shortly after that, the Navy sent us to South Carolina, where Jonathan would attend school, and we would move into our own home. So we were young 18-year-olds in our own home I was pregnant with my son, Dominic. And we would end up having friends over all the time. Most of the people that were in school with Jonathan lived in the barracks, so we had parties all the time. It was a lot of underage drinking, and most of the nights we would end up arguing and fighting, and it just seemed to get worse as the days went on. Shortly after Jonathan graduated from his school in the Navy, we got stationed in Hawaii, and we thought that things would get better. We had our daughter, Ashlyn, and the drinking became more excessive, and it just became hard to deal with, and it wasn't a great life that we were living. So in 2007, that night would change our lives. Jonathan had one of his a night of drinking a lot of alcohol, and I would end up calling the cops and putting him in jail.
We were on our way for a divorce. That's in 2008. My grandfather, who I was very close to, he wound up passing away. And in February of 2008, when I came home for the funeral, that was the first time I had seen my family in months. Things didn't change immediately, but there at the funeral, I had a moment where I realized that I had become everything that I never wanted to be. And the next day I went to pick up my kids for a fishing trip. We went fishing that day, and it was that day in the middle of the lake on a boat dock with no pastors, no Bible, no music, no nothing, where I decided I was going to completely change my life and surrender to the Lord. We began to start making things work again. We moved here to South Carolina and immediately got involved right here at Faith Assembly. I joined the church in September of 2008.
Shortly after we got here, we got involved. We got in a life group, and we were invited by Bill and Cindy Abbott, and they began to mentor us. They began to have Bible studies with us, and it was great to have them just lift us up and help grow us in our spiritual walk. Just getting involved was what changed our lives. Being able to meet new people that were living their lives for God, and just seeing the change that it was making in us and in our family.
And then in 2009, we actually became leaders of a life group ourselves. We did that for about a year or so, and then I went to fully commit myself to volunteering in the youth group and really helping Jason there. And then in 2011, that's when we actually came on staff here at the church as at first the middle school pastors, and then in 2012, and ever since we've been serving as your high school pastors. And that's our story of a life that was marked by alcoholism and anger and near divorce to one that's now, through the work of Christ in us, being completely surrendered to Him, is now one that will be being used as tools to help build His kingdom.